Hey guys, I am here with this, the VW ID.4, their fully electric crossover vehicle. Let's take a look. The ID.4 is new. It's not the first fully electric vehicle from VW. For that, we have the e-Golf, which was a great little fun rocket ship, but you know, the range just couldn't keep up. Well, since then, VW has really gotten their act together and has brought us this. Before we get into it, please press that subscribe button. It really helps me out. Thanks a lot. Crossover vehicles are huge right now, and EVs are really taking off. And VW really need to put a mark in the sand in this category. And with the ID.4, they've really done it. This is the Everyman's EV, and in my opinion, one of the most user-friendly EVs on the market today. The MSRP for the ID.4 starts at $39,995, not including the government incentives. The ID.4 has an estimated range of 250 miles. I was averaging a little less than that, but it's still impressive for a vehicle this big. The ID.4 comes with 3 years of free charging with Electrify America. That's exciting because they've got a nationwide network of regular charging stations as well as fast DC chargers. What does that mean? Well, at a fast DC charger, you can take this vehicle from 5% charge to 80% charge in under 40 minutes, and that's huge. One of the cool things that VW did when they were producing the ID.4 is they got back to their roots. They decided they would put the electric motor in the rear of the vehicle, which is a little reminiscent of our beloved VW vehicle and its second cousin, the 911. And for that gave us great rear-wheel drive, and in the next generation, they will have an all-wheel drive option. In terms of its size, the ID.4 is over an inch lower than the Tiguan and 4.5 inches shorter. But inside, it feels huge. And then in general, the vehicle is just clean and simple, which is something that I don't see in cars enough. Everybody's so busy trying to make things cool and unusual. They forget that sometimes it's okay to not be fancy. Just be simple. VW does that really well. And with Apple CarPlay, I'm really happy in this car. I've got a little screen here, a big screen here, and everything is clean and easy. What I'm not crazy about is this mesh sunroof. For those of you that live in places where you don't get a lot of sun, it's probably wonderful. On a cloudy day, it's great. But I found here in Southern California, it just heated up my car way too much. VW also has this new voice recognition system where you can tell it to do things. Like, watch this. Hello, ID.
What would you like to do?
Turn driver's seat warmer on.
All right.
Okay. So I used this a few times and I thought it was really fun and very simple, but at the same time, I wasn't always convinced that she was doing whatever she said. Because sometimes I would say, you know, turn on the AC, and she would say, okay. And then I didn't really notice if it had happened. However, I did notice she did turn on the seat warmer. So it worked. I think it's the sort of thing, it's kind of like Alexa. You just have to get used to it. In terms of the back seat, I think that this has a bit more luxury than I've seen in many EVs, including headrests, bucket seats. There's a nice armrest here. It feels big, even though it's a crossover, because again, you've got this colossal sunroof with the mesh. On some level, there is a level of luxury in the ID.4 that you don't expect at this price point. Number one, the interior. It feels light, airy, and German, frankly. And sometimes you forget that this thing's only $40,000 because it does feel luxurious in that distinctly VW way. There are two different drive modes in the regular driving. One is just the regular D, and then B is the setting to charge your battery, which will give you more regen braking and give you a different feel as you drive the car. Those of you that are not used to driving an electric vehicle might find this B setting a little odd and hard to get used to, but once you figure it out, it's super fun. In terms of the drive, it's classic VW. It feels German, it's tight, it's smooth, and it's got a turning radius of 33.5 feet, which is fantastic for a vehicle this size. It feels like a real driver's car. But the real thing that gets you with the ID.4 is it just feels good inside. It feels happy, it feels friendly, it feels like you're not scared to be in an EV. And I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but sometimes when you get in an electric vehicle, the Tesla, for example, I felt this with Model S and the Model X, I felt like I was driving the future. Where in the VW ID.4, you just feel like you're driving a VW that just happens to be electric, and that is a wonderful thing. In terms of the trunk, we've got plenty of room. You've also got an extra charging cable under here. I use this because I don't have a home charging station, so I plugged this into my garage, and in the morning I had 180 miles of charge, so that's fantastic. In general, really simple, really intuitive, just like everything else in the VW.